Brooke, you do not need to laugh that
Well,
way.
we had a discussion about rigorous honesty in one of my groups there, and that was the thing that always comes up.
Yeah.
Do I look at this guy? Just, you know.
Rigorous
This
honesty.
is why hypocrisy was invented.
Okay, you are going live. So.
Trying.
Nice.
Okay, and I need to.
Oh, that was off too.
Speaking of tape,
It's, now is this, I gotta turn that speaker. How do
What? And that's. Should be
Am I
in
gonna get
control.
feedback?
No, you shouldn't.
But it's that,
significant time.
Why is it?
Yeah, it's a
I don't know.
replaying all this.
No.
No,
No, it's about 10 seconds.
it's about 10 seconds delayed because I heard
But we
Rich say
were-
that
we
one
are-
Oh, I
person.
saw
we have
that
to come
too.
into Zoom.
So we had a gold collar event out at Tennessee Bog on Sunday. That was fun.
Oh, what was this?
Okay,
The gold collar event.
but I don't know why it's.
My dog was a member of the gold collar club.
Which one? The
Well,
Matt Carroll.
it's it,
I don't
yes.
know if it
Carroll.
is.
It's
That
the,
troublemaker?
yes, it's the White Mountain College for
Are you
Pets.
kidding?
Oh.
And basically,
Like
what
gold
that
diploma.
gives you is for a full year, you can enroll in any class that they
What
have.
about sororities? Like, she was sorority.
Yeah.
So that must mean she has very good behavior.
Huh?
Does that mean she has very good behavior?
Not quite, but she's getting better.
Yeah.
She's definitely getting
I can't
better.
attest, it takes a lot to get through.
Okay, we're only about a 2-second delay now.
But we're gonna have, it's gonna be. On you,
We're gonna hear it as we're trying
we're
to
gonna
talk.
hear it as you talk,
Can't you mute that?
then you won't hear them when they're participating. I mean, the other folks.
I don't know how Nick had it set up.
Could you answer? Yes, absolutely. Thank you. Because this is new equipment, so I don't, this is my first time with it.
But we are live.
Yes, we are live, so
We're just a little confused
we're
here
just
right
trying to
now
make sure we don't
because
get
of the
too
sound.
much,
Reminds me of one of those things you never want to hear, you know, from the government here to help, hurt me more than hurt you, checks in the mail. And I'm from IT, I'm here to upgrade.
Yeah.
You run screening.
Exactly.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Everything's working fine.
Leave my stuff alone.
Because I'll be
Where's-
down.
Where's the
more-
gallery, or are there other people attending this?
We offered it to several other people. But like I said, I didn't
I
know
don't
if
know,
anyone
yeah,
would
so
show
it's in
up.
a spot.
It's gotta be part of the job description for next
I know
replacement.
there's a delay to reach here, but we're getting up here.
So we want to be able to listen to people if they talk to us on Zoom. But the only one we have to be careful. She's very old.
Thank you.
Everybody else is like
But she
with
is
each other.
fully vaccinated.
She is.
Sure. How's your
Are we
pump
good?
going?
We're good.
All right, we're good.
How much is?
I'm gonna need to talk to you about how we did that. in case you guys haven't.
Yeah.
We'll talk. all right.
Okay, so we can call a meeting to order
You can.
after some technical difficulties. It looks like it's 3:04. We are calling this special meeting of the Board of Selectmen to order. Our first topic for discussion is town meeting. And Mark, you want to tell us what you'd like to say about the budget review?
Yeah, I just wanted to update you. All of the budget items are tracking on percentage wise in each of the departments. I do want to have a discussion with you about the legal budget, but that relates to a couple of ongoing cases, so we'll do that in non-public. And I wanted to make sure that we are still planning on doing the amendment for the additional funding for the water project.
Right.
Right. So right now, in going through with all the department heads, all of the budget line items within the departments are doing okay.
Would you explain that to the people listening?
Yeah, I-
Why we're doing it and
Yeah.
what it is? It's got
Yeah.
15% or 20%?
It's a 15%. So what we have discussed and what we have within our plan for the motions at town meeting is to do an amendment to the operating budget of the town to add $150,000, which is 15% of our estimated project cost for the water project to connect well 3 and well 2 to the new treatment building and to do the river crossing.
And can you explain why?
And we're doing this because we've been notified by our engineering firm that recent bids that they have put out, they have been seeing a trend that those bids have been coming in above the engineer estimate of cost. Additionally, our engineering estimate of cost is 18 months old at this point in time. So that, along with the increase that they've been seeing over the last 6 months or so, we feel that it's prudent to have additional money available to us. And the only way we can do that is by amending the capital outlays line item in the operating budget at this point in time. We can't add anything to a bond issue or anything like that.
Is the money coming from fund balance or we're just adding it?
We're adding it on. We're not going to take it out of fund balance at this point.
I guess another way to look at this is that because we could not do this work last year
That's correct.
and there's been this kind of delay, prices have gone up in the meantime.
That's right.
Yeah,
And
both
I think
labor and
that's
materials.
right.
Yeah.
A lot of, and they're not seeing this significant increase on small projects either. They're seeing it on multi-million-dollar projects. So it isn't like the contractors are plussing up the really small work. They're even seeing multi-million-dollar projects that are not getting any bids at all. So it's going to be, I think, a challenge even to get this project potentially bid this summer. So we will, I have the wording in the information for your packets.
Right.
And so the wording is in there. What we're going to do is we'll read the article the way we normally present it. And then the first item will be for Joan to recognize you, Margaret, and you'll make the motion to do the amendment. Okay.
Right.
And
Ready.
it's going to be in your packet. Okay. And I want to make sure that it's you. Hold on just a second.
Kind of my turn now because we made Rich vote on increases in garbage and.
That's right.
So Mike, you made Mike makes the original motion with Margaret seconding it. and then Margaret, you'll move to amend it, and the motion is right here.
Mhm.
And we've got the number to, that it changes the bottom line of the total budget. We've got that in here as well. So you just make the motion as we've said it here.
Okay.
Then you'll discuss the amendment
Mhm.
and vote on the amendment. And then go back if the amendment passes, then we will restate Mike's original motion with the new amount in it. Okay, and that's why
And
we've got
this-
the new amount.
And does Joan have to have a written copy? of
She
this?
does. She
She
will have
does.
all of this, and she already has the written amendment.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
And Sharon's packet for the minutes will have the same information.
Okay.
Okay. As far as the rest of the motions and everything, it's all the same as we have reviewed at the previous draft of the packet. We've gone over, department heads and I have gone over, they're all ready to talk or, speak to any of the motions, if it's their department. The only one who will be missing will be Jim, and Dylan can handle the water and wastewater items if there are any questions, and between he and I, we can handle the rest of the DPWs. Okay?
All right.
And I think, there was one other question on the motions, and that is when we finish the overall budget Article 22, if you want, I will put a separate piece of paper in here with the motion to limit reconsideration. So as long as the hour has passed,
Mhm.
Joan, either when the hour's over or when we get to the end here after Article 22, she's going to announce the results of the bond issues.
Mhm.
Once we've announced those, then we can go to the limit reconsideration if you want. And then if anyone doesn't want to do the other stuff, they know that the budget is locked in.
Okay.
So I will have a sheet of paper in here
Okay,
for that.
great. Anything else on town meeting? Do you have any questions? 5:30 tomorrow, be there, be square.
When you come into the arena, we're using the main doors of the arena. You're gonna walk in those
Those are the
doors
ones over by the lake.
over by the pond, yeah.
Mhm.
And we're gonna walk in, the table with the supervisors will be directly in front of you. And then you'll check in, and then you'll turn to your right and follow the boards around. There's an opening in the boards right there on your right.
Mhm.
And that's where people will go onto the surface,
Okay.
where the
Okay.
chairs are.
And basically, our rule is that we want people to wear their masks as they're entering the facility and walking to their places once they are seated and separated from everyone else.
She has asked that we wear masks the entire time unless we're speaking.
Okay, okay, all right.
That's the way Joan wants to do it, just to keep
Right.
the confusion down. Because
Gotcha.
people will be standing up to either vote or to go up to the microphones.
Right,
So you'll see the chairs are 6 feet apart in pairs,
Mhm.
okay? And there's a main aisle that's about 8 to 10 feet wide in the middle,
Mhm.
and there's open areas on either side.
right,
There'll be a microphone at the front of each of those aisles,
okay,
and people can go down to those microphones to speak.
okay,
And because of the acoustics in there, when you speak, whether it's us answering a question or whether it's the public, they really have to use a microphone because it's going to be very difficult for people to hear if
yes.
they don't. So we're gonna try to encourage people. It may lengthen the meeting a little bit, but we really do want.
And are we disinfecting the microphones?
We
after use them?
have hand sanitizer and wipes that'll be available to do that. We have 4 microphones across the front. We can give one to the department heads. They can sit down front or we want to do, but we can dedicate a microphone to them.
Mhm.
And then we'll have two or three mics among us, and Joan has one.
Okay,
Uh,
lots of mics.
There will be two big screens
Oh,
like that we use for the movies on the beach. I think he brought his big ones. So, and there'll be two of them. So as far as being able to see our presentation, any slides or anything, it should be pretty easy.
everybody's confident they know how to project to them.
He will be there early. I will do an early computer check and we'll make sure that we can do everything.
And we're recording this on Zoom.
We are recording it. We're not,
Not
our
on Zoom.
plan is, well, we're gonna see, he's gonna bring an Ethernet cable. So if we can tie in directly to their internet connection with a wire,
Mhm.
then we will live stream. If we can't, the Wi-Fi is not very good there. So what we will do is record it and then put it up afterwards. But that's gonna be a
And that will be
call
YouTube.
tomorrow.
That would be YouTube,
That'll be on YouTube,
not Zoom.
not. And either way, if we live stream it, it will also be on YouTube.
Okay. All right. Great. Super.
Um,
Anything else?
And then I will finalize, so I'll finalize the information and I'll get your notebooks ready for you tomorrow morning and get them to you so you can look them over before the meeting. In addition to the motions, you've got everything in the town report, but is there anything you would like pulled out specifically in your note? The town report does not include the full CIP or any of the personnel info or
We
anything
have
like that.
slides for the full CIP if that needs to go up.
I can have a
I
slide,
actually have one ready in
Okay.
case we want to look at that long term.
okay? Yeah. I'll make you copies then and put it in the book so that you have it to refer to. And the personnel information, is there anything else that you want? Water, sewer, or anything like that?
Yeah, I think we're fine with it. That's all I forgot.
Yeah, I'm good.
Are they gonna be showing the video of how our wastewater treatment plant works?
Sound is an issue.
Ah,
With regards to he asked that we try not to have sound
okay.
on the slides. So, but let's see what is available tomorrow and I'll have it downloaded so that we can play it if we need to. Maybe we'll do it before the meeting starts.
Hey, is that everything on town meeting? Okay. Other business, we have our noise ordinance discussion.
So you have the comments that were made by the Snowsbrook Homeowners Association, and Dave is here to answer any questions that you might have on that, or to talk to you about the process for tomorrow, as far as amendments and things like that. We're not proposing any amendments, or we're kind of hoping that nothing does get amended, but
Dave, as I understand it, the only change that we're making in the noise ordinance is because there was something that was left out of it in the past, and we're doing it to bring it into line with what the state requires as far as noise ordinance.
It makes it broadens our powers as a town to enforce more things that the state law is very broad.
Mhm.
It's not very specific, and what we've done is kind of rein in that umbrella a little bit and name those specific things that we're looking for, which state law allows us to do that.
Right.
It was prepared by an attorney, it was approved by the county attorney as proposed on there, and I would just be hesitant to make any of those changes.
Okay.
We like it the way and manage it is a lot better for us. So I would be opposed to making any.
Yeah, if anyone does propose an amendment, I'd strongly encourage that it be just an up or down vote of what's been presented. Because if anybody amends things and puts wording in there or, tries to change it in any way, it's gonna lead to
But here's
more.
a question. Doesn't a member from the floor have the right to present?
Oh, they
an
do.
amendment
They do.
And bring it up for a vote? I
They
don't think
did-
we
they
can
do.
stop an amendment.
We cannot stop it, but I would just highly encourage them because of what Dave
Yeah,
said.
No,
that-
I appreciate the comments that we got in,
Right,
but they tend to be unenforceable in a resort community. It's, the reality is, we live here, this is what we are. We can't fundamentally change what we are. Or are we, we'll put it, I'm not willing to endorse a change of what we are as a community. And I don't know if people believe that or not. I think what you're doing is just cleaning it up and making it easily enforceable and manageable for our public safety people.
It is. It's more or less a housekeeping thing for us. It just makes us, our ability to enforce it much easier.
How does it do that? I'm just being a citizen here. How does it do that?
Just because it allows us to impose civil penalties where it doesn't have to involve the court. So as a town, we can say, okay, you violated one of our ordinances. This is the fine. You now pay the town. The state doesn't have anything to do with it.
Okay.
Okay. If they still have the same rights that if they were like, well, I don't want to pay this because I don't think I'm guilty of this, then they can have that option to go to court. But for us, in order to write a town ordinance citation, it has just to do with the town and whoever that person may be breaking that ordinance.
And is that the main thing that has changed? Again, I'm talking as a citizen who has not seen the former or the current proposed. at this
No,
point in time.
what it did is it
These
added
are
a
here
lot
for
of,
changes to.
yes,
so
that's fine.
what it did was, there were a lot of, what we looked at was what type of complaints were we getting? All right, from people around town at all times of the year. And a lot of it was the revving of engines, the burnouts, whether it's motorcycle weekend, those types of things. That kind of stuff is non-specific under state statute, okay? But the state law allows the town to regulate that. And all it's doing for us is making those particular things that it's laid out more specific for us, that we can then, and really it's in response to what everyone is complaining about, has complained to us about in the past.
That our current ordinance does not
That's right.
allow you to.
That's right.
I just think it's probably, once this is proposed, I think it is probably a good idea to have some of those things at your fingertips to explain what the
Mhm.
rationale
Sure.
behind the change is, and to
Absolutely.
give some examples of, how you've listened to what the citizens have said, and here are some of the things that are responsive to the complaints we can get.
Yeah, and in the past, because our ordinance wasn't strong enough to really address those, it was really hard for us to enforce it. Yeah, absolutely disturbing, but to really pigeonhole it into a state statute for us to be able to address it, it's kind of difficult.
Okay.
So what this does is it kind of cleans it up for us and makes it very specific and allows us to address those issues.
Okay. And do we have somebody on Zoom who wants to
Yep.
comment?
He's in.
Is
Okay.
he unmuted?
He's not the worst.
Any comments regarding the, Anatoly, any comments regarding the changes that you had sent in?
Thanks. Is this Mark? I can't see you on the
Yeah,
screen.
Mark, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm on-
We can
out of
all
the
hear
screen.
you.
Okay, that's great. Yeah, no, I'm the president of the Snowsbrook Association, and one of our biggest concerns, that relates to noise is the wedding noise that's generated on the conference center site. So we we directly abut that property, and on Friday and Saturday nights, it's really noisy and it's impactful, and it's not a level of noise that really is a reasonable level of noise. And I think when that conference center was first built, I'm not sure that it was ever envisioned that they would have, these functions outside in a tent. And I think the result of that is that the noise impact is just much greater than, maybe it was intended to be a long time ago. And I know my unit in the Snowsbrook development is across the brook, so on the north side. And when I'm sitting in my unit and there's a wedding going on, I mean, I could dance to the music. It's pretty significant. And we've got units that are much closer, and there are other condominium associations that also are concerned about this issue. So I think our feedback on the noise ordinance is that, that's really not a reasonable amount of noise anytime, whether it's before 10 o'clock or after 10 o'clock. And, we don't want to be bad neighbors to the conference center, and we don't want the resort to not have a wedding business. But I think, what we're asking for is that the noise ordinance, really, address this issue and encourage Waterville Valley Resort to do some mitigation, to try to mitigate the noise, because I think they could mitigate it if they wanted to. It's just, a plastic tent really doesn't do anything to mitigate that kind of noise. So I think the comments that we submitted, Mark, are kind of intended to bring this concept forward. And, I think we would be very enthusiastic if they wanted to, take some steps to mitigate the noise impact, which I think, certainly affects us, but it goes beyond, our condominium, and it affects, a good number of other people in Town Square and, around the valley.
Appreciate your taking the time to come in and talk to us in person.
And thank you all. Thank you for addressing this issue.
Some interesting discussion tomorrow at the meeting. So thank you very much.
Okay, so any other questions from Dave or for Dave that you might have, or everybody comfortable that when it gets presented, we can answer?
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
So the next item is to go into.
Well, just for other business
Yeah.
department heads,
Oh, okay.
anything,
They're all here.
they're all here. So this is our chance to say not goodbye to Jim, but good luck, bon chance. We don't want to say goodbye to him. He's not leaving.
I didn't sign retirement.
No, you did not.
Well, there's the other goodbye.
Here's the other goodbye. That's what I was talking about. Yeah.
It could happen.
So, no, but we do have arrangements made. The guys will be filling in for Jim.
Yeah, Mark and I appointed two of my guys to be kind of like co-bosses, if you will. Each with different responsibilities, but on each one of their absences, if they are absent during my absence, then, one takes over for both. So Nate and Jeff would be in charge.
And there's
They have been temporarily in the past, so they know what they gotta do.
How long are you gonna be out with?
2 to 4, maybe 3 weeks. With
Days.
Dave, you figured a few people is there.
Yeah, but these were
These
hips.
were hips.
These were hips. That's a knee.
And just for the record, I was congratulated by my surgeon as this being his most challenging and worst knee that he's ever done.
Winner.
And the winner is Jim Mayhew, of course.
So I'm not quite sure if there's a prize involved. I'll find out.
Yes.
And Dylan, we have been working, the crew is here from our outside contractor.
Apex Construction showed up today. A lot of work on that. We're all like, after this week, Wednesdays. Right now, it's just perfect. But fingers crossed that we're able to perform all the work that like that.
But we had some other things show up, correct?
Yeah. As long as you can actually inspect the line with the camera, that I think that because you might run into an issue with depending on the conditions inside of like 50 years old. Well, like that, whatever had it previously. But we might run into this issue and how far we have to go.
And then we've had some other smaller leaks and stuff that have shown up again in
On
the
the
slope in the embankment.
It seems like you have some small amount that's rising to the surface right around where the work was done this past summer, fall, whatever.
September.
And that's the area where the grass has been reseeded,
Yes.
correct?
But it's now above and around the ends of the area that's been reseeded, because that's where we put the patch on.
Mhm.
Now it's around the edges of the patch.
Yes.
Fall and grass as well.
So that will be looked at on Wednesday, when the engineers are here to work with Apex. They will also inspect that.
Patch in one place, finger in one hole, and
Yeah.
Another hole.
another one is there. but
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that's the rest of Jason.
And we think this is just a problem of the clay liner is over 50 years old. it's
So we don't
developing
know
some
what we're gonna
cracks.
be able to do with it because it keeps drying out and then it rains, and when it rains, the water level goes up and it's obviously getting into cracks. in the line.
Continuous erosion on the side.
Right.
Mm.
There's nothing to bind anything together. On the sides.
3 years.
No, I.
No,
We gotta keep it
yeah,
going.
You gotta keep it going for 3, yeah, fingers crossed. 3 years.
Well, Tyler Durham, our new Parks and Adventure Program manager, started on Tuesday. He's off to a great start. He's doing a great job so far. He will be, at this point, working Tuesdays through Saturdays. So hopefully we'll get an opportunity to meet him. I don't know if he'll be coming tomorrow night. But he's better. So that's great. And then we have our Wilderness First Aid course this weekend, which is full. We did get permission. They had like a 12-person maximum, but they just increased it to 16 for COVID. So we were able to let all the people that are on our waiting list into the course. So that's great. And then the fishing derby's coming up. David and I are working on that. Planning for that's going well. That's May 29th, and we are keeping it to a limited participation, and it is online registration only this year. So spread the word. And still looking for a couple staff for the summer, but otherwise we're looking good in terms of staffing. So
We're not that far.
it's really not.
It's not-
Doesn't look that way.
it's 2 months away.
Not even. 6 weeks.
And Saunders doing well?
She is. She was back in the office last week, so she was able to be here to welcome Tyler on. And yeah, what's required for job at this point is we're able to meet her requirements at this point, and she's feeling up, great according to plan, and so she should be back in action and walking around by camp.
Yes, Sandra and I are gonna go out and play some rocks.
Oh, good.
She said you told her she could stay in the car.
Yes. She's gonna help me pick
Yes,
the places though.
Yes, exactly, and she'll be knowledgeable about where they are.
Where they are,
Yeah.
yeah.
So thank you.
Okay. Anything else on other business?
No, I think we're all set. We're good. Joe has started with the Department of Public Safety, Joe Noricchio. So we are back to full staff for the time being.
Trying to hire some part-timers now and some permanent staff. Testing for part-timers.
Sounds good.
All right.
Yeah, okay.
So
That's
now,
all I got for, do you have anything?
I just want to come physically.
Because I can't, you're right, you're right. Now I quit this, I got my shots and all that.
All right,
All right,
okay,
very good.
so that's all we have for public session, so we're gonna go into non-public session at 20 minutes, 25 minutes before